In this video, separating things into a main overview and then pre-production and post-production, I like using Milanote because I can have things essentially in one place, but I can also put things in separate sections so I don't get overwhelmed with the amount of information in one singular area. And because creative projects are also often collaborative projects, you're able to share your board with other people, whether that be people on your team or just another creative in general, so that you can get their feedback on your board. For example, I shared my board with Milanote so that I could get feedback on my designs. Milanote is available for free with no time limit, so make sure to sign up for your free Milanote account by clicking on the link in the description below. And thank you to Milanote for sponsoring today's video. Anyways, listen, back to comments online. I understand freedom of speech. Right? I get it. Hey, you have it. I have it. Why don't we all use it in, appropriate ways? It's not against the law to be annoying, okay? If that were the case, then many of us would have been put in the slammer long ago and maybe even get in the electric chair, I fear. Also, I never want to infringe upon someone else's right, their God-given, Jesus Christ-given right to be annoying because it gives me something to talk about. Without annoying people on the internet, I think a lot of YouTubers would be out of a job, and a lot of YouTubers would be out of a job. So yes, people of the internet, you can say whatever you want, and here's the thing, so can I. So here's the first type of comment that I find to be a little bit annoying. This is an incredibly misinformed, diluted, closed-minded video that fails to mention the complexities of the human experience and psyche, and people like you are the reason why this world has gone to an absolute whirlwind of dog shit. Did you even watch the video? No. Someone commenting when they haven't watched the entire video, or they haven't watched the video at all, or it goes for different mediums too, like they haven't read the article, or they haven't read the caption, things like that. I'm like, okay. Oh, that's rich. That is rich. Seriously. And listen, I get that sometimes you don't have to watch an entire video to know that you're going to disagree with that creator or whatever, and maybe you can tell quickly, because sometimes you can tell quickly when someone is a piece of shit. And it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily want to increase their viewer retention.
Hey, what's up, you guys? And today we are going to be talking about how females don't belong in the workforce, and they're only good for breeding purposes, not the ugly ones, though. I believe the ugly ones should be held in some sort of oxygen-devoid chamber where they can't make contact with the outside world.
And awful. Well, hang on. Let's hear them out. And listen, okay, I get it. Not everyone has the attention span or the desire to sit down and watch an entire YouTube video. Yeah, maybe they want to clock in for around like 15 minutes and then everything after that, they're just like, fuck it, If someone comments something on my video that maybe negates the fact that I said something or that I actually did cover a portion of this topic, but it's around like the 52-minute mark or something like that, then I'm kind of I give them more grace, because it's like, I mean, I probably wouldn't want to watch me sit down for an hour either, which I'm surprised a lot of you do. But for me personally, right, if I haven't watched something in its entirety, I'm not going to speak as if I have. I'm not going to take time out of my precious God-given days on this earth to comment something negative on something that I haven't even fully seen. Well, actually, they forgot to mention ABC, XYZ, row, row your boat, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Because here's the thing, maybe they did. And maybe they did. A personal example from me is whenever I post videos that have anything to do with feminism or critiquing the patriarchy, anything like that, which let's face it, there are many things of which to be critiqued, right? I will get a minority of guys commenting on my videos who I assume are not in my audience, where they're basically like, you're a raging misandrist, and you want to put all us men into a ditch full of piss and bleach. And it's like, baby, I didn't say all that. Like, for example, on my weaponized incompetence video, oh boy, Oh boy. There were a couple comments from men being like, well, you didn't even mention that women can do this too. And here's the thing, baby, I did. You just didn't watch the entire video, which is fine, right? You know, you're not legally mandated to be watching my content, which honestly, I think the government should get on that. But let us not be hasty, okay? Young keyboard warrior, because I did mention it, and maybe I didn't talk about it in a way that you agree with. Maybe I didn't you know, paint it in a way as you would like, which that's all valid and fine. But for you to comment like, you didn't even talk about this, you didn't even mention it at all, it's like, well, here's the thing, you're unfortunately wrong. Or I got a lot of comments that were like, this is the most sexist thing I've ever seen. Hashtag justice for men. And it's like, I thought I was pretty fair. And I also thought that I was pretty adamant that, like, not all men act like this, and that it's actually very important to note that all men don't act like this, so that way the men who do act like this, they can actually be held culpable for their actions instead of just using the scapegoat of, well, they're a man, they're supposed to act like that, right? Which you would have known if you paid attention during the video. And you know, I'm sure there's people who do watch the entire video, and they still hate me and think I'm wrong, which I respect. Because at least you watched the whole thing, I guess. You know, I am totally open to hearing people's opposing thoughts as long as they are making the effort to hear what I'm saying. And you know, people not liking you, people making snap judgments about you or assuming things, that's just a part of being online, and I totally accept that. But I think with that specific video, it felt like I was the Barbie movie. You know, people, or a minority of men who are probably not in my audience were saying like, this is the most misandrous piece of media I've ever freaking seen. I feel like they're hanging men by their shaft in the town square and throwing stones at them. And it's like, I don't know, I thought I was pretty fair. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with genuine critique, right? I think all content creators should be open to that. However, there is a difference between genuine critique and giving your 2 cents when you haven't even stepped into the bank yet. And that's just my personal example, right? But like I mentioned earlier, I understand not wanting to sit through like an entire YouTube video. So these comments, like, yeah, sure, they're a little bit annoying, but they're not like actually affecting my psyche or anything. There's a lot more overt versions of this where you could get someone making a TikTok that's like, hang on, let me think. Like, for example, okay, this isn't really as much of a, you know, hate comment or critique, but you could have someone on Film Talk giving a synopsis about a movie, right? And that's what the entire video is about. And then someone could comment down below, so what is the movie about? My dearly beloved, watch the video. Or on like a mommy vlog TikTok or something, the mom could be going throughout like the meals she makes for her children throughout the day, and say she gives her child in the morning like a donut or something, and then someone will comment, you are a terrible mother giving your child only a donut to eat. And it's like, baby, did you see the other meals though? Because the vegetables and the fruits, like, they were still there, just later in the day. Later in the video. Meanwhile, you're about to call Child Protective Services. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it's like that that one meme of that woman from Dance Moms who, weirdly enough, I actually met at a meet and greet. Theirs, not my own. That GIF where she's like, no, yeah, I mean, you're entitled to give your wrong opinion.
Why are you entitled, Holly, and not me?
You're entitled to your wrong opinion. That's fine.
Which you are. You are free to give your wrong opinion. I just don't really understand why people want to do that publicly. So when we discuss women in the workforce, what we want— just say you hate women and go. The fuck? Okay, not gonna do that. But anyways, a lot of the times people think about motherhood and being a working woman as— so you think women should be chained to the kitchen? Wow! Go. Can you just listen for a second? That's not something I'm interested in. Okay, then can you keep your comments to yourself? Not interested in that either. Kill yourself. Okay, I'm sorry. Can we get someone to escort this lady out of here?
So actually,